This video is part 2 of the tutorial for Zotero. Zotero is our citation and reference database management system that we recommend you use in the geology department. And in this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to conduct literature researches through the library webpage, how to import references directly into Zotero. So let's take a look at that. So the first thing you want to do is, first of all, you need to download Zotero to your computer. And you may want to pin it to your taskbar like I have down here. You can see this Z down at the very bottom. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to open Zotero. And here is Zotero open on my computer. I'm going to minimize that for now. I've got it open. And then I'm going to open up a browser and go to the Treadway Library webpage. So go to augustana.edu/homepage, and you'll land on this page. And so a really critical part of any research is to do the background research and to find really good, credible sources of information that you're going to need as part of your background research or your literature research. And developing these skills is really important because you have access to so much information. So part of this process is to sift through this huge amount of information and to find out what's really important for you. So let's say, for instance, I'm doing a research project on the East African Rift system, and I'm interested in the structural geology of that. How do I want to approach that? Well, you got a bunch of different places that you can go. I'm going to suggest that you check out the research guide link here from the library webpage. You're going to click on that and then choose Geology. And it gives you a couple options. Choose the first one, that's the General Geology Research Guide. And that brings you to this page. This page Lauren Lehman has created just for the geology program. And in it, she has given you some tips on how to do research, how to do literature research, how to find information. By the way, in terms of resources, the library staff are some of the most important people on campus to help you find information. You should never hesitate to go ask them for some assistance in finding information. And Lauren is the expert in the natural sciences. Any of the reference librarians can help you a lot, but she is the one who really knows how to get into the resources for the natural sciences. So let's say we want to find journal articles here. You can do one search and so forth to look for books that we have access to. I'm going to limit my search just to journal articles. So I'm going to find articles, and then we've got a bunch of databases that we can access here. And there are two in particular that I recommend, although you can try any of these. ScienceDirect is really useful because it provides full text journals, full text articles from journals, also Academic Search Complete. So we may not have full text for all of these papers. You should be able to find a lot. But if you find an article that you think is going to be really important and we don't have full text access to it, you can put in an interlibrary loan request to it. If you have any questions on how to do an interlibrary loan request, you should contact a reference librarian like Lauren Lehman. So let's try ScienceDirect first. So first of all, make sure you have Zotero up and running. It's open on your computer. That's going to be helpful for us. And let's go to ScienceDirect. And we're going to type in some search terms. So I mentioned a few minutes ago, let's imagine we're doing the East African Rift. East African Rift structural. There's a bunch of search terms. This is going to give me a lot of papers. You might want to refine your search if you're looking for a specific geographic location, or if you're looking for something really specific. This gave me a whole lot of results, 13,000 results. Let's just take a look at these. And let's say I want to download some of these. I'm not going to hit download all of them because I think that's going to give me 13,564. So I want to choose the ones that look really good. Any of these might be really good. You can choose whichever ones you want. Structural interpretation. Notice that most of these, they should have PDF copies. So you can go back in, you can click on these and download the PDF copies. But the ones that I'm clicking here, that I'm highlighting, these are the ones that I'm going to export as references into my Zotero database. Just to start off, structural control. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of them. That's good for starters. You're going to spend more time sifting through those and reading the titles than I just did. And now I'm going to hit export. So I had chosen 9 citations, or actually they're references. If you're using RefWorks, you can save it to that. We want, if you're using Zotero, you need to export citation to RIS. And this is going to create a document on my computer. I'm going to put it in my downloads. And I'm just going to save it. All right, so there it's saved onto my computer in the downloads folder. That's just going to be garbage. I'm not going to use that yet. And now what I want to do is open that. And if I have Zotero open, I get this pop-up, import file. Do I want to import the file ScienceDirect citations? And I'm going to say yes. And there it just did. So you can see now in Zotero, it created a folder called ScienceDirect Citations. I'm going to rename that. Let's rename collection. Let's call it East African Rift. I might want to include that as a subfolder in structural geology and tectonics or something like that. Now, here are the 9 references that I imported into it. So for each one, if I highlight any one of these, it opens up all the information. It just has imported all of this into my own database. So all this information is now stored on my computer. And notice it actually imported the abstracts, which is really nice. You might want to have those abstracts. All right, and there it is. In my previous video, I showed you how to create a bibliography. So I'm not going to do that now. Just wanted to show you that these are here. So now let's go back to our library webpage, and let's instead that was from ScienceDirect. Let's use Academic Search Complete. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do East African Rift. And structural geology. We'll do a search. And I got 71 here. Notice it got some full text. There may be some duplication. You should try multiple search engines here. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. Each one of these integrates with Zotero a little bit differently, unless you install that other piece of software, which I have not done here. But you can see I've got some nice full text articles. In this case, what I'm going to do is put them into a folder. This is just going to put my references into folders, into a folder like this. So I just chose a bunch of them. Again, you're going to spend some time sifting through them, trying to figure out what's really important. And I put those into a folder. And now if I click on my folder view, here are the references that I've just put in my folder. Now, this is not on my computer. This is in the cloud somewhere. But what I want to do is select all of those, and we're going to export them. So I put them first into a folder, and then I'm going to export them. Click on Export. And here again, I want to choose how I'm going to export them. If I'm going using EndNote or RefWorks, it's going to be a different format. I'm going to export them to RIS. and then I just hit save. And it's going to tell me now, give me a little pop-up here, and then here it's saving. It gives me the option of what folder to save it into. So I got a little pop-up. I'm going to again save these into the East African Rift folder that I already created, but you can navigate to the folder that you want, and it should be there then. Done. So I think I should have it there now, and I should see more papers. Yeah, so now I've got more than 9 in there. So I just imported a bunch of other ones into here. So some of these came from ScienceDirect and some of these came from EBSCO. But that gives you an idea of how easy it is to import these references and then exporting these references as citations into a bibliography is in my other video, but that is a really simple process as well. So I hope that this has helped you, gives you some tips on how to do your literature searches and how to organize the information into these folders.